Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you about when I personally plan on buying back more Moderna stock and adding more calls and shares onto my current position. Now, that of course means that I am expecting a short-term pullback in Moderna prior to another significant move up that I believe we'll see. That said, it's completely possible that we don't see that. We could very well see a continuation of this rally to the upside, and that's why I want to explain to you guys the two scenarios that I see playing out. So we will dive into the charts. Of course, we also have an article to go over that did lead the stock up in after hours, titled U.S. government buys another 100 million doses of Moderna vaccine. Modern Moderna vaccine. So this did just drop today, like right as I was prepping this video, timed out perfectly, and this did send up the stock about 3% in after hours trading. Okay, so great news here. Again, you guys, the fundamentals just keep coming. I remain very, very fundamentally bullish on Moderna. And again, although I'm honestly hoping for a short-term pullback so I can accumulate more shares prior to a big move up that I'm expecting, it's very likely that with all the fundamentals behind it, with all the stars aligning for Moderna fundamentally, we could just see a continuation to the upside. Okay, so excited to get into this with you guys. Before we do, though, I will ask you to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or if you're invested in Moderna stock yourself. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and of course check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link down in the description if you do want a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio that I do update every trading day during market hours. With every update, I also send an email newsletter explaining my thoughts. Kind of tripped over myself there because I didn't want to forget about this. Holiday heads up. I want to let you guys know that I'll be gone from December 13th to the 23rd. Heading up to my cabin in Big Bear, spend some quality time with the fam, get some snowboarding in. Unfortunately, I won't be recording any content up there, but of course, I will still be trading, and the daily newsletter will still be going strong. I'm pre-recording a few general videos that I'll post while I'm up there. I already got those done. I'm very proud of them. I hope you guys do like those. But I just wanted to give you guys the heads up. If you do happen to want daily updates on some of our favorite stocks around here, you got to join the newsletter fam. So again, big shout out to newsletter fam. Do appreciate you guys. And again, if you want to know when I'm getting back into Moderna, what specific calls I'm buying for Moderna once these hopeful price targets are hit, same with many of the other plays, gold, silver, Riot, Mara, Bitcoin. I do have a lot of lower side pullback price targets for those as well that I'm looking forward to. Unfortunately, I probably will be gone when we hit those price targets. But again, if you want to stay tuned for that, if you want to keep up with what I'm doing personally, first link in the description once again. Appreciate it if you do. If not, no worries at all. So let's quickly go over this piece of fundamental news. Great news. The news, again, just keeps coming for Moderna, and then we'll hop into the charts. I'll let you guys know what price targets I'm thinking of. Boom, the expanded order would ensure continuous vaccine delivery through the end of June 2021 at a total cost of $3.2 billion, the Trump administration said. So moving down here, the United States will buy 100 million additional shots of Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, doubling its initial order of the vaccine, which the FDA is expected to authorize later this month. The expanded order would ensure continuous vaccine delivery through the end of June 2021 at a total cost of $3.2 billion, the Trump administration said. So there's an important piece of, there's an important sentence in here that does kind of tie into why I believe we could see a pullback. And that is that which the FDA is expected to authorize later this month. So because there's so much hype around Moderna, because Pfizer is debatably, they're very, very close. Pfizer is very close to getting their vaccine, the emergency use authorization from the FDA. That's like arguably going to happen within the next few business days. So because that's happening, there's a lot of hype on Moderna stock. You can see Pfizer and BioNTech were actually down today because, again, it's buy the hype, sell the news. It's such a consistent trend over the course of this market environment. And I do believe that's what we could see with Moderna as well. There's a lot of hype around Moderna. We were up today. Again, we were up after hours. Just cut off as I started recording this, but we are up 3%. Testing the top side up here, we're sitting at about $160 now. So Moderna is looking good technically. But again, I do think we'll see a pullback, and that's what I want to talk about now. Again, because we will likely hear word of that FDA clearance for Moderna's vaccine later this month. That still leaves a couple weeks of just kind of middle ground and capitulation, what I do believe will be a little bit of correction and capitulation. So that is where I'm, again, hoping This is just my opinion and what I'm hoping for personally. I'm hoping for a pullback again, so I can pick up more prior to a big move up when we do see that news from the FDA, hopefully clearing Moderna's vaccine for emergency use. Now, what I think is going to happen, my price target to the downside, I'm sure you guys can read this yourself, but we'll talk through it anyway. I do think that it's very, very likely that we'll test the $118 region over like sometime next week. It has to be today's the 14th. No, today's the 11th. I'm sorry. Monday is the 14th. Up at some point next week, I'm pretty confident that we're going to be testing this orange line here. And many of you guys are familiar with this orange line. I'll quickly zoom out and explain what that is and explain why it's going to be such a significant level of support, in my opinion, and why I'm very confident that we're going to see that. Okay, so let's go to the daily chart and really zoom out here. A lot of crazy lines on Moderna here. So as you can see here, let's expand this a little bit. This thick orange line right here, which I believe will come down to and use as a line of support around $117. So just right off the bat, my price target on the downside for Moderna is $117. That is where I'm comfortable buying and adding more calls, adding more shares onto my position. That is because that was once a very, very strong long-term line of resistance that once we gap through, that's when we really saw the floodgates open for Moderna's recent rally. Okay, so you see the first high back here set in May. You see the second high here in mid-July. And then once we gap through there, just on November 25th, when this recent Moderna rally really started to kick off, when we gap through that, that's pretty much it. We saw that huge rally because we gapped straight through that line of resistance. I was so confident going up to this line. Like, again, shout out to you guys if you've been following the journey. If you remember this, I was so confident we would use this long-term line of resistance, at least bounce off of it before breaking through it. But we literally just gapped through right here again at the end of November, and that was the ultimate technical catalyst for this recent rally in Moderna that led us to a high of almost $180. Again, you guys, we did go parabolic here. It would not surprise me at all to see a significant correction in Moderna, just because we went absolutely parabolic. Let's see a price range here quickly. Price range from November 24th, we'll go to December 2nd. I mean, that's kind of long. It's a few days here. But in the span of a few days, we went up 80%. Moderna appreciated 80% to that high again of about $180. So that is what I would consider parabolic, especially for a stock at the scale of Moderna. And that's what leads me to believe, even though we did see a big red candle, we tested this area that we gapped up from, I still believe that we will see a greater pullback, again, in that middle ground fundamentally before the FDA goes on to clear their vaccine for emergency use. And again, it only makes sense, you guys. This is TA 101, and I've seen this play out so many times in my trading career. This line of long-term resistance that we just gapped through, and again, was the catalyst for this recent rally, will very, very likely act as a new line of support. And that would make me very, very confident in the fact that we do see a successful bounce off the 117, 116, 117 area off this orange line. I do recommend you guys all go draw this on your own charts for yourself. If we see a bounce off this line, that would make me very confident, like a successful bounce. Like if we don't break through it, if we see a bounce off of it and go slowly, maybe go sideways up into the right a little bit, that would make me very, very confident that we're regaining steam. This has acted as a very successful, strong line of support, and we will ultimately continue the rally to this cyan line up here. So that's the other exciting part. Either way this plays out, it's only a matter of time, in my opinion. We will reach this line of resistance over here, which is the very, very long term and honestly optimistic trend line, again, from a very long-term perspective. So before I go into a little more detail, let's just see why this line is here. So this line has been drawn for a very long time for me, and this is pretty much the top end of what I expect to be kind of Moderna's range. Even with all the fundamentals behind it, I can't imagine Moderna going much higher than this in the medium term, okay? So this is a trend line that I drew from pretty much Moderna's genesis, obviously not genesis, but from when we first started covering it, when it started doing really good. And this was used in its span from March 16th to, again, its high in like around May 20th. Okay, so for a couple months, for the span of 2 months, this was used as a pretty solid line of resistance. Broke above it for a little bit, but once broke below that, and I'm not counting this ultimate top. If you wanted to get super bullish, you could almost draw a line like that, and it would actually probably be pretty similar. So let's just see what happens. I mean, that's pretty darn similar. So that could be it too. You guys use this high right here back in February, use this one in May, and kind of extend that. And it comes to around like, like right around the same region. So that even backs it up even more. Again, just from a very general trend line perspective, you guys, when you're seeing crazy rallies like this, that's pretty much all you have to go on is kind of, again, those trend lines, they're not set in stone, you guys. I'm not guaranteeing anything once again, but this is what I believe traders will be looking at. This is what I believe will likely come in play, because again, there's not much to look at, maybe aside from fibs, when you get into that blue sky territory, and that's where my price targets are at. So price targets for the upside, again, we could break out of this short term. Let's go back to the 4 hours so I can talk to you guys about this wedge that we're seeing right here as well. So this wedge that we're obviously seeing right here in purple, pretty textbook wedge from, again, this high of like 180 to where we're currently at right now. Again, we're at 160, so we're actually at the top side of this line of resistance on this wedge. And with a wedge, it's kind of a toss-up. When you're in a bullish pattern already, it's likely that we'll break out to the upside. So again, although I'm hoping for a pullback, it is very likely that we do resolve this wedge in an upside breakout, because again, when you already have bullish momentum behind you, which Moderna does, it's very likely that this pattern will be resolved with a breakout. So if we do see a breakout, I think this top area, I think we do break $200, ultimately see another significant move up, break $200, test one of these lines. 215 to 220 is my top side price target. I mean, same over here, like 215, 225, depending on when we hit it. Say we hit it January 1st, brings us to about 222, okay? So again, you guys, these trend lines are just general price regions that I'm aiming for. If we hit 215, I'm stoked. I'll probably take some off my position. I do have a video that I'm releasing while I'm gonna be up in Big Bear talking about how I take profits on runners, on apps, on the rocket ship emoji stocks, which Moderna is thankfully one of. But again, you guys, I'm aiming for like 210 to 230 just to keep it super general on the upside. 210 to 230 is my top side range for the medium term, for the duration of this more short to medium term rally in Moderna, okay? And then around there, I would be a lot more hesitant. I'll probably start to take a lot of profits around like 220, 230 region, okay? So just a heads up there, you guys, just really being as transparent as I can with you. But again, we could see it's actually likely, which is kind of a bummer to me. The more I'm talking about this, the more I knew it was likely. It is more likely, in my opinion, that we break out to the upside here once we resolve this. But I am hoping for a downside. Again, you guys, I do still have a decent Moderna position that I am happy with, but I would like to see a pullback down here, and it would make me more comfortable for the medium term, because this is still, although we've been capitulating, although we're seeing this wedge and this kind of sideways movement, I still want to see a pullback, because then that really means that I think the move up will be that much stronger if we see a pullback prior to that move up, okay? Instead of just going sideways, I would rather see this area of support tested just to get it out of the way, because it is inevitable to me that at some point in the near to medium term that we do come to test this line of support. That was once a very long-term line of resistance. So again, it's more just the fact that I want to get it out of the way. If we do go up, I'm happy. I'm happy for Moderna. I love this stock. If we do go down, I'm even happier because I can add more Moderna to my positions, okay? So to wrap this up, you guys, bottom side price target $115 to $120 is my price target on the low side, where I'm comfortable adding more Moderna to my positions. Top side price targets, where I'll likely start to take a lot of profits, $215 to $225. All right, so we'll call it there, you guys. Please let me know what you're thinking about Moderna, what you think about any of the other stocks in this sector. See, NVAX did pretty well today. Unfortunately, Sorrento didn't do too well today. Did talk about that in the newsletter. So again, you guys, if you do want daily updates while I'm gone on some of our favorite stocks that we talk about around here, first link in the description, daily newsletter. Join the waves, Sam. I do appreciate that. But if not, again, drop a comment down below. Always love talking to you guys. Always love learning from you guys, more importantly. So I'll catch you downstairs. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.